Hi everyone, this is Katie, and I'm going to be honest here and say that I'm having a hard time making this video due to sensory overload, overheating, all of the trauma we're still processing because of bullshit comments we got on our last video for this series, and just a bunch of trauma stuff in general. But we are going to make one more attempt to make this video, and hopefully this time we will be grounded enough to say everything we want to say. So in this video, we are just talking about 3 aspects of gear: clothes, bags, and bedding. And because we seem to be incapable of doing anything else and are barely even capable of this, we are just going to be talking about what we do personally. And we're not going to be talking about any recommendations for people in other types of environments than the one we're in. We are on the coast of California in a very temperate area, probably the easiest place to be homeless weather-wise pretty much in the world. And so for people in more extreme climates, you might not find this very useful. But we're just going to go ahead and outline what we do here. So in terms of bags, we have a big suitcase, a small backpack, and a big backpack. We also have another small little pack and a shopping bag that we carry extra stuff in, but the main stuff is the 2 backpacks and the suitcase. I personally carry the big suitcase and the little backpack, while my partner carries the bigger backpack. We used to have a different combination of gear, but after getting our stuff stolen, this is what we've settled on. Sorry for all the noise. This is, oh my god. Wow. I'm not even sure what that dude was honking at. I feel like somehow he just did that because I said that. I'm not saying I really believe that, but it somehow feels that way. Okay, when my ears stop fucking hurting, I'm gonna get my composure and try to remember what I was saying. So, bags. I carried the little backpack and pushed the suitcase because I have back problems that make it impossible for me to carry very much on my back. My partner also has back problems, but he has a better time, it seems, with the bigger bag, and this is what he signed up for, so this is how we're doing it. I love the suitcase. While it can be really hard to wheel stuff around, we're in a city where people can get annoyed, and it can be hard going in stores sometimes. People can get aggro about it. For the most part, I can get around with the suitcase okay. And it not only keeps stuff off my back, but it can serve as a seat. I'm sitting on it right now. I can also prop it upright and lean up against it. It's got 4 wheels, not 2, which means that I can stand it up upright and push it. And in that way, it serves as a cane for me, which is really awesome because I've got knee problems in addition to back problems. And that makes walking around rather difficult. And while I'm one of those too proud to use disability tools, disabled people who has a really hard time getting themselves to use stuff, like canes or sunglasses like I'm wearing right now, I do my best to take care of myself, and I do find that the suitcase really helps serve as a very covert cane. Yeah, you know, my partner used to wear a bigger pack. We both used to wear bigger packs, but like I said, I really can't do it, and he has a better time with a smaller backpack that looks more like a school backpack rather than a camping pack. And this is a huge point that I want to make. So I talked in my last video about using invisibility as a strategy for surviving homelessness, and how we personally have found it safer to be more out in the open. And that is true. But at the same time, I find that if you have a school backpack rather than a big-ass camping pack, you can have an easier time passing as, if not homeless, then at least just drawing a little bit less attention to yourself. People can get really, really terrible, in my experience, if you've got a big-ass camping pack on. It just screams homelessness and triggers people in this way. So yeah, having a school backpack, if you can manage to fit all your stuff into it, that can help alleviate some of that abuse. It's just painful to think about. It's terrible how the homeless are treated, but it is the way things currently are, so we just have to work with what we have. In terms, one more thing before I talk about clothing. I was about to start talking about clothing, but one more thing about packs. One of the big things is pockets. I've found that having as many pockets as possible is really, really helpful. Keeping your stuff organized can be so important, and the more pockets you have in a backpack, the easier that can be, in my experience. So yeah, clothing. We put emphasis on socks, underwear, sweaters, and jackets, and little emphasis on pants and shirts. This works for where we're at. We live in a place where temperatures can fluctuate a bit. Even though it is temperate, it can get pretty hot in the day and pretty chill in the mornings and at night. And so having a bunch of layers is really helpful. I have a sweater, a hoodie, a thin jacket, a thicker jacket that can go underneath a thin jacket because the thin jacket's kind of oversized. One t-shirt, one tank top, one pair of jeans. Currently I only have a couple pairs of underwear, but I try to have more than that. And multiple pairs of socks. My partner has a similar amount of stuff, although less sweaters. And this works really well for us, for where we're at. We also each have beanies. I don't think I mentioned that. And beanies are excellent. Beanies are an excellent tool for staying warm. And also, they've been helpful for us at night. A lot of the times we're too triggered from trauma stuff to put the beanie over our eyes. But our partner has made a lot of use of that, and we do to a degree. They really can serve as a good eye mask as well, as something to stay warm with. So if you have light sensitivities, that might be a really helpful tool. And yeah, you know, a huge one is shoes. So we have these kick-ass waterproof boots. They say waterproof at least, and it hasn't really rained here yet where we are, so we haven't had a chance to test that. But I'm going to go ahead and show you guys my boots. I'm not going to show you most of our stuff for safety reasons, and also because it would just kind of be a pain in the ass. But I am going to show you my boots. So, don't know if you can see. I can't see what I'm doing. I'm going to move the camera around so you can see. So yeah, these are our boots. Hopefully you guys could see that. They're from a thrift store, but they were originally from Sears, so says the label. Yeah, they're comfortable, they're durable, and they look cool. And there's really not much more that one could ask for, I don't believe. Something I definitely want to say is a little bit more emotional or spiritual than physical. It can be really hard to maintain a sense of self when on the street, when all your focus is on survival and practicality. So I have found it really important for me to prioritize style to a degree. I really identify with gothic subculture. I love dark wave and industrial music, and I like wearing clothing that reflects that. I also am really into psychedelic spirituality and paganism. I like things that reflect that. So while I do mostly prioritize practicality, I have put some real effort into maintaining my style. Currently, I'm wearing a shirt with Celtic stuff on it. It's really quite trippy, and I'm wearing black jeans and black boots. All our gear is black. A lot of black and red. I know these are big trigger colors for a lot of people who come from MK Ultra like we do, and so I understand if that doesn't resonate so much with all of you watching this, but personally, you know, we like these colors despite how triggering they can be, and we've really put some effort into having our stuff be both practical and comfortable and also reflective of who we are as a person. It just really helps with our self-esteem. It just really helps with our whole morale, you know? So, yeah, that's definitely a suggestion that I have, is to focus on the practicality, but don't lose sight, if possible, of who you are. And if you want to wear art on your body, if you want to be quirky, if you want to be a bit uncomfortable so that you can feel like you and like you're still being seen as more than just someone who's existing or surviving, which is unfortunately how a lot of people view the homeless, I really, really encourage you to stick with that and stay empowered. Okay, the last thing I wanted to talk about was bedding. Huge thing with bedding, of course, is staying warm. And one of the most useful tools I found for that are emergency blankets, aka space blankets. I cannot stress how valuable these are enough. They are literally life-saving, and they're portable. And while they're not the most comfortable, we found that if we put sleeping bags in between us and them, they are super, super awesome to sleep with and not much of a hassle. One of the only things about them that I don't like is that they're crinkly, so if you are trying to stay hidden and quiet, that can be a problem. But if you're not trying to stay totally quiet, they're not so crinkly that they're gonna drive most people nuts and piss most people off. I know we can get really agitated by it, to be honest, because of our autism, if we're too overloaded, but as long as we don't move around too much with them, it's not so bad. So yeah, we have 2 emergency blankets. One goes underneath our bedding, the rest of our bedding, and the other one goes on top. We put mats directly on top of the emergency blanket on the bottom, and the mats are fucking awesome. If you can get some camping mats, I highly recommend them. They won't probably feel like a bed by any means, but they will make a difference. They will be better than the ground by itself, in terms of the comfortability of the surface itself and also warmth. And if you can't get your hands on any mats, cardboard. If you can find some cardboard on the street or in a trash can or dumpster, cardboard can be extremely useful in that way too. Cardboard's really a versatile tool. You can make signs out of it, you can make structures out of it, and you can sleep on top of it. One thing we have that is a bit of a luxury item is we have a little pillow We got it from a thrift store for like $1, and it's not very comfortable, but if we wrap our jackets around it, it's a lot more comfy. And that could be a really huge one if you have sensory issues, the pillow thing. But generally speaking, if nothing else, clothing, folded up, balled up, can be really nice as a substitute for an actual pillow. You know, so much of it just depends on what you're willing to carry, what you're able to carry, and how much you need to be comfortable. We're a highly sensitive person who's been subjected to unbelievable amounts of long-term trauma that made it so we've never really been very comfortable or had many of our needs for comfortability met. So while we have a very hard time with being uncomfortable, we're also incredibly used to it. And being used to it does serve us well on the street. You know, a huge point that I want to make here is that you may not be able to get very comfortable on the street ever, and you might have to accept that. And I know that can be a really tough one for a lot of people, especially if they've gotten used to a much nicer lifestyle. So if there's anything that I have to recommend about that, it's mindfulness. Mindfulness, in my experience, is the key to acceptance, which is basically the key to life. And it's definitely the key to homelessness. I'm not sure what else to say. Part wants to come out and say a couple more things about clothing. Yeah, we just want to talk about thermals real quick and long underwear. Those are really useful. Also, rain gear really depends on the climate you're in and how much you're going to need that. If it rains occasionally, I don't recommend lugging around lots of rain gear. As much as it sucks to get your stuff wet, I just don't recommend taking anything that you're not going to use that much, because every little bit of space in your bags counts. Every bit of weight on your back or that you have to pull counts. But if you are going to be somewhere where it's really rainy and you can find yourself some rain pants or a rain jacket and you're able to carry it around, that stuff can be invaluable. Ponchos are great because they can be really light. I absolutely hate Walmart and didn't even get a chance to test these out before they got stolen from us. But we did find some ponchos for like $4 or $5 there, and I think we actually saw that Target has even better prices. So if you are in a pinch and you have a few bucks to grab something like that, those can be possible options if you can stand going in those stores. And of course, you know, there's always stealing, there's always homeless service centers, you can always find stuff on the ground. I'm not recommending stealing explicitly or anything like that, but if it's a life or death thing, I hope that you will do what you need to do in order to survive. It's fucking rough out here, and while we don't steal, we just outright don't do it anymore. We used to when we were underage, and it did save our life. So, you know, you just have to do what you have to do sometimes. I don't really know what else to say other than that. And yeah, I mentioned homeless service centers. That's a topic for a whole other video. If you can find a good homeless service center in your area, wherever you are, wherever you end up going, a lot of those places give out gear that will help you get by. But in our experience, dude, we've had a difficult time with them, and we prefer to do as much of what we do without them as possible. Okay, I think the very, very last thing a part wants to say also about clothing is at night, one of the things that can suck the most is if you're a side sleeper and there's anything sticking out on the side of your pants, like zippers or metal of any kind, that stuff can dig into your sides and it can be really brutal. So I highly recommend, if you're gonna bring pants to sleep in, that you bring pants that don't have anything like that on the sides. Even if you're not a side sleeper, just in case. That's my suggestion. Okay. I think someone's blasting music and this is my cue to sign off. I don't mean that in an MK Ultra way, just in like a law of attraction universal type way. Okay, that's all. Bye.